Hey guys, welcome back to Terrafirmagreg. And in this episode, hopefully I can get a lot done. I've got some interesting things to do. First of all, we see in our background here, we've got our ore processing machine. It does pretty well, but I want it to be upgraded. I want to do something a little different. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but also the storage here. The storage solution, it's good, but it's not great. And it's not create. There is a create storage solution with stock links and packagers that you can use to see everything that's in the vault. And you can also request items from the vault and get it right to you, so we wouldn't have to have all these chests and all this other extra stuff on here. So I'm going to want to work on that. And also, we need batteries. And that is actually an interesting thing, because to get the stock link working and to have batteries, we need the same thing. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So in order to get batteries, I've got 3 set apart here so we can look at them all. There's the small sodium battery, there's the cadmium battery, and the lithium battery. Lithium is the best because it holds the most, but only if you have lithium to make it. You can make sodium batteries with seawater, basically. So you need sodium dust, and you can get that by using the electrolyzer. And there's a lot of ways to get it, but these are MV. There's an LV solution here, but I don't know about those. The easiest, though, which we're making a lot of, is salt. So the salt and electrolyzer, of course, will give you sodium dust and some chlorine gas as a byproduct, which you can save for later use. And to get salt, of course, we have our salt machine that we've already been using, so it's pretty easy to get sodium dust. The cadmium is a little bit more difficult. Cadmium dust, you can get it as a byproduct. In fact, I think I have some cadmium from crushing some of our ores and washing them and everything. So you can get it. It's a little more difficult than just, using salt to get sodium, but it is possible. And then of course, lithium, if you find lithium or something that can get you lithium, these are the best, of course. I did do some mining and found some lithium, so I think I'll probably just go with that. But it is possible to get the sodium battery. In fact, I might just do it just to show that you can. However, the other part is you have to have this small battery hole. And in order to get that, tin cable, we can do that easy. Battery alloy plate. This is a little more difficult. You have to have battery alloy. To get the battery alloy, you need some of this battery alloy dust, which I found if you mix lead, which we were able to find some, and antimony dust, then you get battery dust alloy. Problem is the antimony. I don't have any antimony, so you do get it as a byproduct of washing some tetrahedrite ore, which I think we did find some, maybe? So it is possible to get some that way. Some stibnite ore, or some realgar. And realgar, I know we found a spot where we can get realgar, and I know that you use realgar for other things later on, so maybe we'll go find some of that, mine it up, because through the thermal centrifuge you get the antimony dust, so that would be good. However, the reason I bring this up is because the antimony is something we need for something else, and that is our storage solution. So in order to do the really cool create storage solution, you have to have the stock link. That is the most difficult thing to make. We can make a transmitter because we can make a laser engraver. We can get the stuff that we need for this. It's not too difficult. It is a little bit of a process. We're going to have to make a basic laser engraver, but we can do that, get it done. The hard part is actually this item detector, because the item detector, sure, we can make these things, but it requires liquid soldering alloy. To make the liquid soldering alloy, If you have an alloy blast smelter, which we do not because it's MV, yeah, can't do that. So that's out of the question, but it's still possible. The scrap remelting here, LV. If we have this alloy dust, we could melt it at LV, which means we'll have to have the basic extractor, which is another machine we haven't built yet, but we can. So then all we need is the alloy dust. To get the alloy dust, we can mix the antimony, lead, and tin. No heating required. Easy peasy. So it is possible to get the soldering alloy dust, but we are going to have to make a few things. So let's focus on getting the batteries first. If you look in the quest book here, the basic canner is the first step. So I think we're going to go ahead and make one of those. And it doesn't look like there's anything special about the canner being built. It's pretty much the stuff that we've been doing before. So I'll just gather those materials real quick. Well, I wasn't entirely sure that was going to work, but we do have right here 576 millibuckets of liquid tin, which is exactly what we need in order to cast a tin rotor. So when we make the tin rotor, instead of using all these materials and do that, we are actually going to use the fluid solidifier in a casting mold. So I'm going to favorite that because that is so much easier. Okay, casting mold rotor. Now we'll go to the fluid solidifier, throw the motor in. Now we just need to add the liquid tin. And I think you could just take this and click right there. Yes, perfect. It's working! Haha! There's our rotor on the Jeep. And there we go, basic canner. Nice. Oop, there we go. And we can put the basic canner just in the row right here. I don't know if we're gonna need an output chest on it. I can probably just stick it like that. And now that we've got so much rubber, we should probably insulate all this. And in fact, you know what? I think we should just bring it along the bottom. There we go. Just hook up everything. And charging up. Excellent. We've got power. I know there was some reelgar that we found. Yeah, right there. Let's enable that. Right there. Okay, so we can go down the road and then just head over. Okay, I think we're ready to go. And also, I've got this gold drum full of water, and there's a reason for that. If you look at my digger helmet, I actually made something awesome for it. Let's see, shift right click. I made an auto drink modifier. So now it'll automatically drink water out of any container that I have here, although it doesn't seem to drink the aged cider. I even put the aged cider in a gold drum, and it wouldn't drink from it. I don't know why. I'll have to look into that, ask some questions, but it will drink water, so I just have this gold drum full of water, and I'm just drinking. It's awesome. I don't even have to think about it. So we've got plenty of water. And there it just goes again. So let's head on down to the Reelgar site and see if we can't dig some of that stuff up. Alright, you stay here, horsey. And here's our nice, wonderful Kapok tree farm with our big old tank full of latex. 243 buckets. That's awesome. And yeah, it's empty right now because, of course, it is too cold, -8 degrees, but once it warms up in the summer, this thing will produce a lot more. There. Now when it gets warm, we've got all 16 of our trees up and running. And I don't know if I told you this, but I trimmed off the top because some of these were not growing. I think it was because the tree top up there was blocking them from growing. So I went up each side and I might as well show you. So if you go up, you can see there's a difference between the kapok log and the kapok wood. So if you chop the kapok wood, it will not chop down the entire tree. You just cut the top off. And it's still an actual kapok tree, and it will produce the latex. So, makes it a little neater. I had to put these on top so that if it rained, water wouldn't get in the system, because that gums up the system and makes it so that the latex doesn't flow into the tank over here. Oh, and the fact that this is ice, that's not good. I think we can keep that from icing over if we just put a slab on top like that. Yeah, because the water's still there, it will not freeze, and it's still running the pump. Go to the Realgar site, which is offshore. I think I saw that when I was exploring down south, looking for the Cowlin clay. Get out good old Pro Pick. Yeah, rhyolite, realgar, zeolite, chalcopyrite, and cassiterite. Okay, well, I guess we'll go down. Nothing down there, nothing there. Yeah, it's just a bunch of that stuff right there. If I keep going down. Zeolite and chalcopyrite. Yeah, so that is too far. I guess what we could do is build up this. Alright. Build a little platform for us to stand on. We're gonna break out the mining machine. Let's do some mining. Boom. Are gonna need a place to put the torch. So that did get some zeolite, chalcopyrite. Yeah. Did we get any realgar? Guess we could place it down again. Let's see what else we get. Of course, there isn't anything in these vaults because I've got another vault underneath that's sucking up everything. At least get rid of cobble that we've got in here. Yeah, look at that, realgar. Alright, so we must have grabbed some, at least. That's good. We didn't have any water flowing in. That's the best. It's the realgar dust that is hazardous. So once you get to the refined realgar ore stage, you don't want to crush it again unless you have a way of handling it. Oh, that's not the island. The island that we found the nickel on is right here. This is that little jutting peninsula. Oh, that's right, that's right. And the reason why we can't see the rest of the map is because I upgraded the server. I upgraded to the latest, 11.16, and because of that, I got all of my map gone. But that's okay. It also means that now we can craft cobble directly from the loose stones. So if we just plop this down right now, that realgar ore is going to go into the main item vault and come out because we've got our little filter here to send all of our ores and things that need to be processed into here. It will get crushed and washed, which is fine. But instead of going into here into the thermal centrifuge, which we want in order to get the antimony dust, it's actually going to go into the basic sifter because it's siftable. Well, and then the purified pile of Realgar will go through the centrifuge and we'll get some antimony dust. And then that will go through, but that's only 11.11%. I want more antimony dust. So I want to change that right here. So if I grab this filter right here, let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's got tagged purified ores, tagged not siftable, so it won't suck up any siftables. So I think what we want instead, take this brass funnel off. Okay, so nothing is going to come out of the vault there. So now we can unload. Alright, we got stuff coming off. That needs to be brass. That will come out a lot faster. There we go. Now we're getting stacks out instead of just single items. It's still gonna take a while because there's so many of the stones. Oh, I think we got some of the Realgar out. That is good. Well, we have some raw Realgar right here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to throw the Realgar in, get crushed, but we want it to go into the thermal centrifuge instead. What we can do is come up here and just throw this in. It'll get crushed. It'll get washed. There we go. We can take this off. So everything comes into here. Okay, you got purified Realgar, which is perfectly fine, not hazardous. So I'm going to take that and put that on as the filter. There. Now only purified Realgar will fall into there, like that. Oh, that did not go very far. Like that. Okay, great. So only purified Realgar will go in there, everything else will go into the crate. So now we can put this back on. There we go, antimony dust. That is what we want. Ah, there we go. There's our first little bit of antimony dust. Oh, perfect. Because we use that to mix with lead and tin to get soldering alloy dust. No. We can use the antimony and the lead to get battery alloy dust, which is what we need. Lead dust is hazardous, however. Do we have any lead dust in here? We've got refined lead ore, which I think we can crush into lead dust. Lithium. Yeah, we do not have lead dust, but we do have the refined lead ore. It's not hazardous yet, but if we crush it, it will turn into lead dust. So now we just need to handle it safely somehow. The lead dust needs to be in a mixer, so we need to get it into here. Maybe we could set up just a temporary crusher that would automatically put stuff into the basin. So I'm thinking crusher here, and can I put, where's the chute? There it is, metal funnel. That's what it is. Funnel right now. Funnel right there? Yes. So the funnel, crushed stuff goes directly into there. Just need to power the millstone. Why am I making this so difficult? There we go. I'll just draw some power over there. It's 24 consumed. Okay, that should be fine. Alright, so the basin's empty. You need 1 antimony dust to 4 lead dust, and that'll give us 5 battery alloys. So just need to throw 4 of these in. Make sure that works. Yeah, we got our lead dust in there. So we'll throw all those in. Okay, throw the antimony dust in. Why is it not mixing? Let's double check. No heat required. Okay, it's got to be program circuit 1. So change. No, right click. 1. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Battery alloy dust. And it's non-toxic. It's a non-toxic form of lead. The battery alloy dust we should be able to smelt. Yeah, into ingots. And we need 2 of these. Then we take those and press them into plates. There's 1 and 2. Alright, what else do we need? 10 cables. Alright. Make a tin cable like that. Couple of plates. Small battery hull. Oh, this is exciting. Battery preparations. Now we just need some lithium. Okay, we got some lithium here. I think it's just 1. No, it's 2. Okay. Let's grab all of the lithium. So now we can go to the canner and actually use it. Okay, canner. Here's the battery hull. Here's a couple of lithium dust. 2 EUTIC. It's hardly anything. Oh, and there we go. Small lithium battery. Nice. I think if we stick it in here, it'll charge. Yeah. Oh. Oh, wow. That's going to take a long time. So we could make a bunch of these small batteries and throw them in some of the machines that use a lot of electricity. Okay, like here. The chemical reactor and the solidifier when we're making rubber. Sometimes this uses 20 EU and this uses 20 EU as well. We don't do it very often, but when they're both running and doing that, this one runs out of power and it stops, and then this one has to finish, and then this one goes back up. So if we have a battery there, just like this, and put it in its battery slot, it'll charge, and then also when this is running, if it runs out of power, it'll just run off the battery as well. So yeah, it's kind of like a buffer for electricity. And then also, of course, we can do power drills and things like that, which we're going to have to get into now that we can do batteries. But first of all, we can check off the battery canner. Not battery canner, the basic canner. Because we've done batteries. So that is a check. Nice. Now the other thing that we're going to want is a link. Stock link. And the stock link, we need to make item detector, we need the liquid soldering alloy, which you get from soldering alloy dust being melted in LV. So it has to be extracted with a basic extractor. So we don't have one of these yet, so let's add that to our do list. Oh, we're gonna need more lead dust, antimony dust, and tin dust to get the soldering alloy. Oh, we need 3 lead dust. Oh dear. Got 2 lead here. Oh, galena ore. Here we go. Find galena ore. When you crush it, does make galena dust. You can smelt it into a lead ingot, and then you can crush it. If you electrolyze it, I just smelt it. I can smelt it into lead. All right, just throw it in here. Now we take that lead ingot and we can crush it to get more dust, which is what we're going to need for the liquid alloy soldering, because we need 3 lead dust, an antimony, and 6 tin. In fact, we might as well do that right now so we don't miss out. We need 6 tin dust as well. Okay. We happen to have plenty of tin dust. And we need 1 antimony. That has to be set to program circuit 3. Okay, so we're going to set that first so we don't forget. And then we'll throw in the lead. Okay, there's the 3. We'll throw in the 610. No, not the barrel, please. Okay, 610 are in. 1 antimony. Come on, antimony. Get in there. Get in there. Yes, mix. 10 soldering alloy dust. And once again, the non-toxic. Okay, so we got the soldering alloy. That will be good, but first we got to get this stuff together and make our fluids. That's what basic extractor. That's right. All right, we got everything gathered. Basic extractor built. Okay, so we can put it right there. Cable in and connected and charging up. Okay, now the reason why we need this is for the display link, not display link, the stock link, because the item detector needs liquid soldering alloy. We've got the soldering alloy right here. So we can just put 1 in. Extracting. There we go. 144 millibuckets of liquid soldering alloy. And it only takes 72 to make 1. You know, we might as well make a couple since we have 144. So let's go ahead and make 2 of these. Now we just got to get the soldering alloy in there. Use the gold drum we've got from right here. There we go. Just easy as that. 2 item detectors, which we can use in the stock link. Now the other interesting thing about that is we're going to need a transmitter. So the transmitter, we're going to need a laser engraver. So let's make that. Oh, just so happens we have some quartzite, so that's good. Electric pistons. Both those. Alright, now we're going to make the LV emitter. That's interesting, but nothing we can't handle. Done. And finally, the basic laser engraver. Check. Let me go ahead and plop that down right there. Bloop. And I did build out the roof, so you can see it is protected. And we've got one more cable that we can use to connect this up. And there we go, it's got power. You need a packager. That's pretty easy. I'll add that to the list. We're gonna need a stock ticker as well. It requires a stock link and the rose quartz plate. That's LS tier, which means steel mechanical saw, which we haven't made yet, or a cutter, which I guess we're gonna want. So okay, so I went ahead after the laser engraver and built the circuit assembler and the rock crusher, just because now if like the rock crusher is very valuable for getting a lot more flux, and the circuit assembler, of course, now that I built it, I can build circuits a lot cheaper. We don't actually need this deployer anymore, this deployer setup, because we can build all of our circuits in the circuit assembler. It's so nice. Let's build the basic cutter. We're gonna need that because the stock ticker requires the rose quartz plate, and the only way that you can do that is by cutting it. You could saw it, but it's an LS saw, which means it's a steel mechanical saw. Got to do cobalt brass buzzsaw blade. Well, you could also do the cutter, and the cutter also requires the cobalt brass buzzsaw blade. So no matter what, we're gonna need to, make one of these. Might as well go electric though. The cutter that we have right now is good enough. I think we'll just use the basic cutter for everything else. So everything else we've done, it's pretty straightforward. The cobalt brass buzzsaw blade though, you just throw it on the belt grinder and it'll create it. That's cool. So what we need is we need the cobalt brass. And the way we get that is alloying cobalt, which we have a bunch of, and brass, which is easy, and aluminum silicate, or aluminium silicate. This is going to be the difficult one, so we got to get some of this stuff. So you can get cobalt brass dust. It requires brass dust, cobalt dust, and aluminium dust. So what we really need is to get some aluminum. Now we can get it from sapphire ore, mica ore, kyanite, zeolite. Ooh, I think we got some of that zeolite. Oh, but the only way you can get it is through the macerator, and that's HV. So nope, not gonna happen. Pellicite, spodumene, don't have any of these. No, I don't even have aluminum ore. I do have green. Do I have green sapphire? I don't know. Almadine. No, I do have emerald, but it produces beryllium dust. Ooh, that's okay though. So some emerald and sapphire. I think those are the two that I've found out in the world. Okay, so we need to get some emerald, which means we're going mining. It's stone torch. Let's go. Thing is, I know exactly where some emerald is. I've seen it just off the trail coming this way. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's some emerald surface rock. I think it's beryllium. Yep, beryllium. So yeah, this is where we want to dig, right? Right in here. Let's look at the map. Oh, you can see there's some right here. There's a big patch down there. Beryllium ore. There you go. There's some beryllium right there. And there's some emerald. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go down 9 because my contraption's 9 tall. We'll plop it down and kaboom. Okay, look at that. That is amazing. Thorianite, emerald, beryllium, more beryllium. Okay, wow. That goes down. Ooh, it goes down. But this is good. This is great. We're getting enough. Definitely enough. Some went down there. Let's pick it up. Uh-oh, it's hazardous. That's not good. That's not good at all. Is the beryllium hazardous? No. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to grab our vessel. And we're going to put in the vessel as fast as we can. Oh, yep, I've been irradiated. Oh, dear. Okay, let's put it in there. Oh, no. I don't know what the irradiated is going to do to me. Oh, yeah, look at that cave. It keeps going. Well, I don't know what it means, but I am irradiated. Don't know what kind of effects it's going to have on me. So far, it hasn't done anything as far as I can tell, but I guess we'll see. Okay, we got the rich raw emerald and poor raw emerald picked up. I don't think we want to do the beryllium yet. The beryllium will give us emerald dust, but what do we do with the emerald dust? We can electrolyze it, but that's at medium voltage. You can crush it to emerald powder, but I don't want to do that. So yeah, I think the emerald dust is only going to be good once we get to MV. So let's just dump this in and see what we get. So what we should do is we get, let's see, the crushed emerald ore, which is getting washed, and then it should go through the sifter. Or do we want it to go through the thermal centrifuge? Wait a sec. Let's flip that around just for a second. If we have it go through the thermal centrifuge, will give us aluminum dust. If we have it go through here and then through the centrifuge, we do get aluminum dust, but not as much. But then we also get this other emerald stuff, but I think right now we're just trying to get the aluminum dust, so we want all the refined emerald ore to go through the thermal centrifuge. Okay, so let's grab that. Let's see what happens if I put it in here. Yeah, aluminium dust. That's what we want. Refined emerald ore. That's exactly what we'll do. Beryllium dust. Do not touch that. And there's our first aluminum dust. All right. Okay, so for the cutter, cobalt brass, we need a double plate. So we need 2 plates, which we can get from 2 ingots. So we need at least 2 of these, but that shouldn't be difficult because we'll get 9 from 1 cobalt, 1 aluminum, and 7 brass. Okay, well, we definitely have enough aluminum, and we do have cobalt dust, and then we just need 7 brass. All right, so 7, 1, 1. Man, I thought this was going to be difficult, but it's really actually pretty easy. I mean, you know, besides being irradiated and all that. And there we go, cobalt brass. Nice. So we can take a couple of these, drop them in. I think there is a faster way to smelt into ore, or smelt ore dust into the ingots. It's a multi-block furnace. I'll have to look into making one of those because this is nice for doing a lot, but it is kind of slow. Now we just throw it in here, get a couple of plates. All right, a couple of plates, which we just need to smith together, and we are going to go downstairs. This is my rock vault. So I've got the other vault up there, and this is right below it. So this is inside the big vault. And I've got this chute, and we can turn it off so I can grab the filter and show you. Basically anything that is loose rocks, cobblestone, or gravel will automatically filter down into this spot right here. So this is for all of our cobblestone, loose stones, and our gravel, but I've got this little contraption set up because anytime there's loose stones in the system, they will get taken out. Let's see if I can get up there and show you. And whoop. There's a filter right here, and it's for any kind of loose stones. They'll go into here, into the basin, where the mechanical press will turn them into cobblestone, spit it out onto this guy, and send it this way. And the way I was able to get these two going different directions right next to each other is because of this right here, the depot. So anything that comes out gets put on the depot, and they get sucked up by this. And the other belt goes from here to here and then goes into them. So the shafts are opposites. They're alternating. And because of that, they can go different directions and be right next to each other. Well, at least one of the belts stopped. So now I could go over to here and use this because the steel mechanical press is what I need to smash these two together like that. Is that gonna work? Weld the two together. Oh, it's got to be heated. Well, what you can do is grab the blaze burner. We'll just take that out for a second. Blaze burner in right there. And now we can hit it with a little bit of charcoal. Now we can throw that. Why is that not working? Because I have all this stuff in there. Maybe that's why. There we go. Yeah, it's because I had all that stuff in there. Alright, well, this will be another opportunity to show you what else I made. It's an item hatch, and I've got a filter on here. Filter says basically anything tagged loose rocks, cobblestone, or gravel. Once again, that's the only stuff that can go in here. So I've got a bunch of gravel and loose rocks and stuff, and I can just shift right click and it'll throw all of that stuff into the vault here. And now that's trying to make the cobblestone from the loose stones I threw in there. So if we get rid of the blaze burner, put in the gearbox. The reason the gearbox is there is because I needed to have this belt go a different direction from this one. Now if I rotate it again, there we go. Back in working order. Alright, so we can put this blaze burner back. Of course, I'm not entirely sure we need the heat in any of the mixing recipes, but we'll just put it back, just in case. The brass plate, we put it on the grinder to turn it into a saw blade. Perfect. Okay, now we just need to get everything else. Alright, so we need to make these basic electronic circuits, and you do that with resin circuit board, a couple of resistors, red alloy wires, the vacuum tubes we just made, and a little bit of liquid tin. So we need 144 millibuckets, so that is 1 tin ingot. So we have 1 tin ingot. We're going to come over to the extractor. We'll throw the tin ingot in there. It'll extract it, basically making it a liquid form. There we go. And I had to use a steel drum because you cannot pick that up with a bucket or a barrel. I got the steel drum. It works. It's kind of overkill, but you know, it is what it is. So now we can go to the circuit assembler and dump the liquid tin in there and put in the resin board, the vacuum tube, the resistors, and the red alloy wire. So now instead of having the deployers go boop, 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 we just do this. And it makes twice as many, and you don't use as many items. We didn't use any steel at all, just a little bit of tin. So yeah, that is really handy. So now we just click that, make the basic cutter. That's good. Now we can just throw it on the end of the line here, I guess. And go get some more cable. Don't forget to coat it, turn it into a cable. It's a lot better. Stick it under and attach it. And we've got power in the cutter. Okay, so we can check that off. And the reason we were doing that was so we could do the stock ticker. We're gonna need the rose quartz plate, which has to be cut from a block. And water is fine in the cutter. So we gotta make the block. So we need 9 rose quartz. You get the rose quartz from crushed rose quartz ore. That may be a problem. I don't know if I have any rose quartz. Let's go check around. We've got nether quartz. That is not the same. So that, I think, is going to be a problem. So rose quartz is found Y level 60-80, blue ice and snow blocks in low elevation biomes in climates below -10 degrees. Oh dear. So that is far up north. So kind of like how we had to head south to find Cowlin clay, we have to head north to find rose quartz. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Well guys, I think we'll call that an episode. We got some batteries done and that was really cool. Now we're gonna have to go north, get some rose quartz, so that'll have to wait until next time. So until then, catch you later.